Okay, we're back. Are you ready for me to rock you? Right? You know what I mean? Okay, let's get underway. This time I'm going to talk to you about open source tools and maybe the way you're going to contribute on your journey to how to become an MVP is create open source tools. You might say, well, I'm not a developer, so how can I do that? Stay tuned, because I'm not a developer, yet I have created open source tools in my journey to become an MVP. This was way back a long time ago. So what happened is that back in the day, let's just say that's a period of time ago, around when, was Freddie still alive? Not sure. Anyhow, it was a while ago. My first open source tool that I created for the community was a Visio template and how to lay out the screens, forms, views, and dashboards for Dynamics CRM a long time ago. And I created this whole library and people downloaded it all over the world as an open source tool, and it was very effective. And there were various versions of it. It was created. Haven't looked at it for a long time. But could you create a library, a template of Visio stencils, for example, that were designed for Power Apps or Flow or something like that? See, not a developer, but it can still create open source tools. My colleagues have created many open source tools that have been amazing. Tangi is one of those people. He created the XRM toolbox, and a lot of other people have got in and supported that now and add open source tools. Do you have an idea that you want to create something, a tool set that might help people create Power Apps more efficiently, flows more efficiently, do something with AI Builder? Maybe you have an idea of an app that you could create that could use this infrastructure. Another one is Ribbon Workbench. Helped out literally hundreds of thousands of businesses, this tool by Scott Thoreau. Amazing contribution he's made by that tool to the community. Way back, way back before I was even an MVP, there was a product set out there, open source, called Stunware. Amazing guy. Fortunately, he's no longer with us, but he was creating open source tools for our community way back then. So you might have an open source tool in you that you could contribute. Consider GitHub as really the platform to put those on nowadays. What could you look at on GitHub that you could contribute to? Or do you have an idea that you could actually rally other people together and produce and put on GitHub? I'm sure you've got an idea that you could make available as an open source tool, therefore helping the wider community. Areas to consider: PCF Controls. Could you create a PCF control that is open source and available for others to use? I think there's an element of creativity as well as developer skills really come together here. When I say creativity, design, UI specialty. You might team up with a developer, you might have amazing design skills, get together, create some open source PCF, Power Apps component framework control tools. The other one is flow templates. Right? Do you have a flow template that you can put together that could be submitted to, the flow templates repository? Maybe you have ideas around that. You could be making those available to the community. Another one to consider is app galleries. In Power Apps, there's the app galleries. You might have app, templates, open source components, etc., that you can put together for the app gallery. There's lots of ways to contribute with open source tools. One of my largest customers that I landed early in the business days of our business came about because of an open source tool. You never know who's downloading it, who's looking at you as being the subject matter expert on that topic, and you're adding value to the wider community. It doesn't always have to be about the money you make. It could be about the contribution you make instead. Anyhow, I hope that sparks some ideas. Leave some comments below if there's a Power App or a Flow or a PCF control or just a brand new XRM toolbox type tool that you want to bring to market, and you might want to collab with others on that and release that. I hope you've enjoyed this How to Become an MVP video. If there's other ideas that you have or questions that you have for me, make sure once again, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear your feedback. Ciao for now.